So a lot of PvZ2 players, or just people generally interested with the franchise, agree that PvZ2 is very unbalanced for one reason or another. Whether it be the unnecessarily overpowered plants, the lenient leveling system, or the random bullpoop the game will occasionally throw at you. And I mean, you wouldn't be wrong. I've certainly noticed a steady drop in difficulty in a lot of the game modes as my plants increase in level, but I'd be lying if I told you there wasn't a certain feeling of gratification while witnessing your plants progress, especially when you're trying to get more seed packets for a specific plant you love. It's the same feeling with Cedium or Gemium plants, earning the resources needed to obtain them, as well as the fact that leveling makes certain, less effective plants a heck of a lot more viable. As you play, instead of picking the same by-the-numbers level 1 plants to beat the harder levels, it actually encourages you to use normally less powerful plants that become a lot better at higher levels. This is something a lot of people seem to ignore when talking about the leveling system, but I digress. Despite how fulfilling it feels to play with such powerful plants, there is undoubtedly an increasing sense of effortlessness that comes about as you play. Sure, it feels cool to play with such beefed-up versions of normally average plants, but the novelty wears off when you realize how painfully easy a lot of the levels become. Take a lot of the world levels, for example. Worlds that are marked as 4 to 5 pepper difficulty that used to be quite the ordeal with unleveled or bronze tier plants become almost effortless with high silver tier and gold tier plants. I remember when I had my plants in a sort of sweet spot, where they were mid-silver tier and those world levels were still challenging, but you could still feel the plants' increased strength. Unfortunately, that was short-lived, and most world levels nowadays require minimal effort. And this may be my experience playing the game for all this time, but I swear even Endless Zone levels are nearing that drop in difficulty. At least Penny's Pursuit and Arena Mode compensate for this with their own leveled up zombies, but that's just a teeny portion of the game. I mean, just look at this! This is disgusting! I can't believe what I used to think was the ultimate challenge of beating as many levels as possible, steadily progressing in difficulty, is now a joke with the right plants. Just any high-level area of effect plant, that's it. Maybe a few insta-kills on the side. Whatever, I mean, for the love of gosh, I have to go out of my way for a challenge here. And well, I must say, if that's the case, then so it shall be. So let's see what element exactly is making the game so easy. First off, let's take a look at all the area of effect plants in the game. What makes them so effective is that they attack every zombie within a certain collection of tiles. Now, in the earlier days of the game, these plants would have some substantial weakness to compensate for all the zombies they damage, like a very expensive price, slower firing rate, or short range. A lot of these plants nowadays, however, particularly seed packet plants, remove these balancing factors altogether. Most are a little too quick, affect too much area, and more often than not are unreasonably underpriced, and that's not even accounting for when they're leveled up. This makes even world plants succumb to this level of OP-ness. The one element of area effect plants that is seemingly consistent throughout the game, however, is their moderately above average cost. This lends us a clear indicator of how to make the game more challenging, which is to remove sun producers. Like I said before, the issue of overpowered plants is mainly prevalent in world levels, which includes Endless Zone. The difference with Endless Zone, however, is that there's constantly increasing in difficulty. So unlike normal world levels, where there's always the same-ish amount of zombies coming at once, in Endless Zone, the hordes are constantly increasing as you progress. And the modest groups of zombies coming in on normal world levels still end up being easy to deal with, even without some producers. The highly leveled up plants' increased strength is just too powerful, even for the more armored zombies. Not to mention their decreased price. This isn't a problem in Penny's Pursuit because even though there's less zombies on screen at a time, they are also leveled up, which makes them an even match for the leveled up plants. But in Endless Zone, where the zombies remain at level 1, instead of ramping up in strength, they ramp up in numbers. This allows the player to perfect their strategy while playing to the finest detail, because it forces the player to adapt their playstyle with the ever-increasing hordes. And this works perfectly with the No Sun Producers challenge, because it forces the player to think more critically about the plants they bring, instead of just spamming more expensive AoE plants. So, in order to show you how surprisingly difficult this challenge is, I recorded a bit of gameplay with commentary. I also brought my brother along, just for fun. Without further ado, please enjoy the gameplay. So we're gonna play some Plants vs. Zombies 2 with no sun producers.
What? No sun producers?
That's right, no sun producers. This one's expensive, but if you only have one of them, you can basically attack any zombie on screen. Try to watch this.
Woo! That was crazy, man!
I appreciate the enthusiasm.
Huh, that's strange. There's a bunch of camels. Surely couldn't be any zombies.
Yeah, the disguise is pretty convincing. But as you can see, when I pop them, zombie heads pop off.
Whoa!
And look at this little sling pea. Uh-oh, first guard. First guard coming in. What are we gonna do?
He a big bad guy.
No, these zombies in the bottom. Puff shroom, go. You know what, for demonstration purposes. Oh no, the Gargantuar destroyed the boom balloon. But I can bring it back with intensive carrot for only 50 sun. Isn't that wild?
Little man.
Ted, how would you say this gameplay compares to the first game?
Well, it's quite a bit different.
It's a lot more fast-paced. I like all the micromanaging you have to do.
Couldn't get a tiny Gargantuar in the first game.
No, you couldn't. You know that minigame, Little Zombies Big Trouble?
Yeah.
I feel like if you modded that, you could get a tiny Gargantuar. You know what? This is way too easy. We gotta move on to a harder world. Oh, look at him go! Alright, watch this, Ted. Watch the tumbleweed go.
Whoa!
Oh god, I forgot to finish this level. That's annoying.
Yeah, but look at the cool ghastly pea shooter guys.
He's gassing all over them. It's kind of gross, actually. The thing about this world is that no sun drops from the sky, so I have to get everything from the gravestones.
Oh,
Boom Balloon Flower, one always comes in clutch.
it has all the power.
Ghost Peeper's pretty good.
Peeper.
Yeah, of course, Ghost Peeper.
He's peeping Tom, isn't he?
What? I can bring Bramble Bush. Bramble Bush is pretty amazing.
Great Buster looks so much worse than the first game.
Worse than the first game. I actually think it looks worse in this game. It looks like a massive pile of doo-doo.
That's what I'm saying. It looks worse than the first game.
Ah,
It looks worse in this.
yeah.
It's just so ugly.
I mean,
at least it looks more like a plant, I guess.
yeah. Well, it looked like a plant in the first game, though. It looked like a tree stump. Here, it literally looks like a pile of dog shit. Excuse my language. At least if I give it a little sombrero, it looks slightly nicer. Notice how when I use the Grave Buster, it explodes after I use it. That's a level 5 buff. This RNG kind of sucks.
No sun for you.
No, God, this is not going good. Screw it. Power toss. Pay to win. All right, they're gone. Except I didn't actually pay for it.
Look, even the king's not impressed.
I don't think he's even conscious. I think he's just a blob with eyes. He probably has the intelligence of an amoeba, if I'm being honest. Jesus Christ, this RNG is absolute dog poop. It's absolute grave buster. I think we're gonna lose.
It's over.
Yeah. It's probably because I forgot to bring Puff Shroom. That one's pretty important. I know I can do it. I've done it before. It's just these levels are getting so much harder. I'm gonna imitate the Grave Buster. Let's see if the RNG gods treat us nicely this time. Yes.
Ooh,
Amazing. Finally, some good food. Gotta use those free plants. Just a little bit more sun game. That would be much appreciated. Oh, yes.
Ooh,
The mother load of sun.
exactly what we needed.
Yes. Oh,
All of a
boy.
sudden, it's become a lot easier.
True. Just wait till the Gargantuar start appearing, Ted. That's when it'll get a lot harder. As overpowered as Boom Balloon is, it starts to get very hard to micro. What am I gonna do when the hordes of Gargantuar start coming in? One's bad enough as it is, but multiple, it's kind of a nightmare.
It's going to get very tricky.
Yeah, it's gonna get real tight. Ted, what do you think of the Snow Peas animation?
Oh,
It looks pretty fancy, right?
quite nice.
Yeah. I don't like the looks of this. And Ted, what do you think of the way the jesters fling back projectiles?
You know what? It's quite rude of them.
And I really would appreciate if they didn't do that. Yeah, not so easy now, is it, Ted?
Oh,
Not so easy now. You know what? Screw the Snow Peas. I could use an extra Boom Balloon. Yeah,
yeah, you show them.
those area of effect plants, man. They become very powerful when leveled up. It's a little ridiculous. The challenge is a lot more balanced when you're not using sun producers. Oh dear. Oh goodness. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ah! Get him, get him, get him! Oh, he's dead. He's dead. Good. Oh, and, well,
Now you're dead.
yeah. It was fun while it lasted. Yeah, just goes to show. Despite the high-level plants, the game ends up being very challenging with no sun producers, especially in Dark Ages. So you gotta use a lot more strategy, and you gotta use your brain a bit more.